there, true believers, and welcome back to Mike Meeple's Painting Poorly Miniature Painting Tutorials for Marvel Zombies by CMON Games. Today we're taking a look at the hungriest one there is, the Zombie Hulk. This ravenous version of Bruce Banner is the largest figure in the base game, and this gives you a good chance to practice your basic skills on a larger surface. I'll be priming Hulk first with a black primer using my airbrush. And when that's dry, I'll be loading my airbrush with 2 parts medium olive by Vallejo and 1 part airbrush medium by the Army Painter. I'll be using this to spray the model from a 45-degree angle from above, just like you would with the gray and a zenithal highlight. After that, load the airbrush with some lime green by Vallejo, thinning it with the airbrush medium in the same 2-to-1 ratio as before, and spray the model from directly above. You can of course use a traditional brush to apply these 2 colors, but the airbrush makes these first 2 steps nearly effortless, letting us just focus on the details. We'll be starting off with some royal purple by Vallejo and using that to paint the pants. Next, take some red by Vallejo and paint the open wounds, like the bite out of his arm and leg and all the small scratches and whatnot around his skin. After that, take some brown rose by Vallejo and paint Hulk's tongue. You'll also use this color to paint all of the blisters and boils throughout the model, typically found near an open wound. Then, take some German gray by Vallejo and paint the hair. Next, take some dark sand by Vallejo and paint Hulk's teeth, along with the exposed knee and shin bone on his left leg. Moving on to the base, we'll take some demonic yellow by the Army Painter and paint the aim helmets near the feet. Because we're painting yellow, don't be afraid to apply multiple coats, just make sure you let the first coat dry completely before adding another. After that, take some copper by Vallejo and paint the I-beam sticking out of the ground. And when that's dry, take some neutral gray by Vallejo to paint the rocks that the Hulk is standing on. Finish up base coats by getting your German gray and painting the visors of the helmets. And then using some plate mail metal by the Army Painter to paint the ventilators. Once it's all dry, it's time for shades. We're going to start off with Soft Tone by the Army Painter, and we'll be applying that to the mouth and teeth, shin bone, and all of the blistered portions of the model. After that, apply some red tone by the army painter to all the open wounds. Then, take some strong tone by the army painter and apply a thin layer to Hulk's pants. You can, of course, use purple tone or something like that, but I'm choosing strong tone to give it a darker, dirtier look. Moving on to the base, use some light tone by the army painter on the AIM helmets. And when that's dry, use some Nuln Oil by Citadel and apply it to the rest of the base. And when it's all dry, it's time for highlights and finishing touches. We'll be starting off by using our lime green to just turn up the intensity of some of the Hulk's highlights, such as around the face and some of the muscles. Next, take some yellow green by Vallejo and paint a highlight on the most prominent veins scattered throughout Hulk's body. Moving on to the pants, start highlighting with some royal purple, making sure to paint where you see the muscles bulging outward or where the pants fold or bunch up. For a second highlight, mix together equal parts royal purple and purple by Vallejo and highlight a smaller portion of what you've just painted. And because the Hulk is just so large, we'll be using purple by itself to apply a third highlight. After that, we'll be using Dead Flesh by Vallejo's Game color line to give some of the blisters and boils a pus-filled look. Next, take some Dark Vermilion by Vallejo and highlight the open wounds. And you can use some Amaranth Red by Vallejo to add a second highlight as well. Then, get some ivory by Vallejo and highlight the teeth. You'll also use this color to very, very carefully add some cold, dead eyes. After that, take your demonic yellow and highlight the aim helmets. You can also use some moon dust by the army painter to apply a second highlight. Next, mix together equal parts neutral gray and German gray and apply a few highlights to the hair. Then, get some sky gray by Vallejo, along with a small chisel brush to dry brush over the gray rubble. After that, we'll be adding some black lava Vallejo texture paste around some of the bare portions of the base to simulate asphalt. Then once it's dry, you paint the rim and spray it with your matte spray. The last thing we'll be doing is using some clear red by Tamiya to simulate blood. My general rule of thumb with gore is the less is more approach. I'm applying only a small amount near the aim helmets and some around the bottom of each of the open wounds, as if blood is pooling at the bottom of each one. This dries with a glossy finish, which keeps the blood looking wet. And that's it! I want to give a big shout out to all of my patrons whose generous support helped me make quality content like this. And if you're interested in becoming a patron yourself, information on how to do so can be found in the description for this video, along with links to all of the supplies I used today, and a link to my blog where you'll find more tutorials for games like Marvel Zombies. And if you like this video and would like to see more, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Excelsior!